Cast Enemy, episode 5 with Tommy Cordova and his son. Say hi.
What's up?
Caden.
Yeah.
What's up?
Tommy.
Tommy.
What's up?
I've known Tommy since 80.
Since actually Venom days. I think Venom was out. That's what we were listening to on tapes back then.
What year was it?
I don't know. Venom was around in the
79, but
it was like 79, early 80s.
You were like
Coming a little closer, Tommy.
Probably
Oh yeah, this is good. This is good.
you
Right
were
there?
10,
All right.
so probably a little bit after.
Okay,
That
so
was-
I want to say early 80s, maybe 83, something like that.
Something like that. So we got like 30-something years
Pretty much.
in
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Now, like one of the best memories I remember of you was we went to Guar together. Remember
Yeah.
that? The second coming of Guar at the River Theater.
They were brand new. Guar was a brand new band. They were cutting edge. The thing about us is like we were throwaway kids, so we didn't really have a lot going on other than just the music to help dial us in and keep us straight. And then there was a couple of bands that really used metal and the music to dial us in and kind of open and expand our minds on things. And the lead singer of Guar was one of those singers who had a bunch of really good messages and important messages hidden underneath the surface of
The comedy.
into the comedy, the dark comedy that they were throwing out there, and they were regurgitating social events and politics, and they were just hashing through all kinds of stuff. And right in the early 80s, it was about censorship. We had a lot going on with Nancy Reagan and all that. She was
Yep.
trying to shut us down. And so bands like Guar they could not be shut down.
Yeah, it was
Dave
amazing.
Rocky.
Yeah, because I didn't really know
R.I.P.
anything about it. I didn't. My friend had kind of told me what Guar was about, but I had no idea, you know. And then when they came out and they blew the priest's head off with the shotgun, the first song, and
Yeah.
dude, it was just like my mind was blown at
Yeah.
that point. It was really cool to be there with you and see all that. Now you've seen Guar.
Yeah, I've seen Guar about like 6 or 7 times.
You've been at the Guarbecues, huh?
Yeah, I've been
Right.
to the Barbecue. That was pretty cool. That was out in Richmond, Virginia.
What was that like?
That was a trip. It was really cool. It was like the first time I've really been out of California, aside from something crappy like Nevada or
Right,
Arizona.
right.
So it was pretty cool. I just kind of went out there with my backpack and didn't know anyone, obviously, and didn't even really have I had like an outline of a plan, but not really. And I just kind of walked everywhere. I ended up meeting Corey Black, who was like one of the OGs and like one of the OG Guar slaves back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And he was like a shareholder in the slave pit and all that.
Okay.
Like he was kind of a part of that whole thing. And it was really weird. So I ended up hanging out with them. They're in this band called Bloody Crackdown. They're pretty rad.
Nice. So you made some friends out there, and how many days was it?
It was just a 1-day thing, but I was
Okay.
out there for probably the weekend.
Cool.
Yeah, and they
You
came
made-
and picked me up the next day, and we just, hung out, and it was weird. And then we went back to his place, and Dave Brocky actually, they moved a bunch of his stuff into a room at Corey Black's house.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so it was weird. Yeah, he had this old rifle, some old Russian, World War II rifle.
Really?
I held it. It's it's Dave Brocky's. It's pretty weird to think. This was all his stuff and boxes everywhere and
Right,
stuff.
right.
Everyone was really sad.
So what do you feel about the new guy?
I think he's cool. He's actually not a new guy. He's he played Beefcake the Mighty. Yeah, this was back in the day, and he was Beefcake, and then I think Casey Orr replaced him as Beefcake, because
Okay.
I don't really know why, but so he, was kind of a good person for the role in the sense of he kind of helped cohesively keep everything together,
Right.
after Brocky's passing, but
Well, I remember seeing an interview or something like that. Like they were saying Guar could live forever because it could just be anybody.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
anybody in the band. I thought that was cool. It's like 1,000 years a Guar would be amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, it could be the band to last 1,000 years, and I think that's what everybody misses when it comes to Guar. You know, it kind of goes over their head. Everyone wants to sit there and go, "Oh, well, you know, he's not Dave Brockie," but I don't think he's trying to be Brockie, which I appreciate.
Right.
Nobody's like trying to say like, you know, that they're the same without Odorous. I don't think anyone would say that.
Right.
I think it's more so it's about just keeping it alive for Odorous. You know, you could think of it as, I mean, a tribute band at this point if you wanted to, you know. But I think the important thing is like people still need to go out there and buy tickets and support Guar, because what's going to happen is, you know, they're just going to be like, okay, I guess no one really cares, and it's just going to fizzle out.
Right.
And anybody with an ounce of care for Odorous should just go to these shows and support the concept of Guar.
Right. I'm a huge fan of the theatrics in a band. Like, you sell me with some theatrics. Like, when I was a little kid, 4 years old, saw Kiss, I was sold there. You know what I mean? And then Guar, obviously.
Yeah.
And then Ghoul.
Yeah, Ghoul. Yeah, Ghoul. And that's the thing is I really like what Ghoul does.
Ghoul is shit.
Ghoul is, I feel like they kind of were able to capture this like early state, like the early stages of Guar, and kind of like carry that through to like a new generation, so to speak. You know, so there's like a lot of similarities and things, and I feel like their recipe was heavily influenced by.
I just saw a new thing, like a new band that has they almost look like Voltron.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're almost like Voltron style, but playing
Is it Lordy?
It's not Lordy, dude.
Lordy?
I'm not going there.
Everybody makes fun of Lordy, but they have one of my favorite songs.
Blood Red Sandman?
No.
Hard Rock Hallelujah?
Satan is my B word.
You can say bitch.
I can't, actually.
Yeah, you can.
No, I honor women. I can't say that B word.
That's not the connotation we're talking about here. Yeah. You're calling Satan my bitch. You can say Satan.
Satan's not my woman. I just want you to know.
Look at cool guy.
What a cool guy.
Satan's not my lady.
So you play drums?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going pretty well. Well, I mean, like when I play drums, it
well, I mean,
good.
how's... Okay,
I don't have any projects.
You visualize yourself doing something with
a
guitar, vocal, drum, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Is that vision being... Is that happening for you?
Mostly, I don't know. I played with this band that's doing their whole thrash thing, and I just thought I was showing up to jam because my buddy Paul, you know, plays guitar, and then they ended up really like there ended up being a lot more structure than I was ready to kind of come into.
Right.
But everything sounded really, really good, like on a professional level, and we just focused on this one song, and then like by the end of the couple hours or whatever, like we played and it sounded really professional, but and you know those guys are really talented, but the thing is I feel like, and then they're like, dude, you know, like we're all working on this project, you should drum with us, and I was like, that's when the dark shit starts happening, like, am I good enough, you know, all no, for me, like, I definitely think I was, like, at least on a local level, I think that I excel beyond a lot of, you know, I don't know, you know, like someone that just picks it up. I mean, I've been playing my whole life, and it's not that hard in a sense, you know, like for me to like pick up and play with other musicians. It was really easy to come up with something, and it was just a matter of time. Like I just don't really feel like I have a lot of time to kind of give to a project. But I think what I'd like to do is, and I'd like to take something serious, would be like a Scrams project. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
So tell us about that. I'm not really familiar with the...
So,
you know, you guys always come up with these new, like, genres. I'm like, what are you
It's almost like a revival. It's a power...
Yeah, it is.
Power violence.
It is. It's like a... So when I say Scrams, I mean in like the truest sense, because it gets used kind of like out of context. I feel
is it like capitalist style?
It is, but here's the thing: Scrams is like moody power violence, as I think at its core. When I say Scrams, I'm talking about.
Can we all agree right now though that there's too many genres in this whole?
There probably is.
This whole thing.
Right.
There probably is, but the thing
it's
is,
a level of intensity. I think that we're talking about. Like there's a lot of different kinds of genres.
So so it's so easy to define. I feel like when you talk about power violence, for example, I think power violence is supposed to be kind of at its core like it's definitely a variant of hardcore.
Right.
But what it is there's like a lot of crossover genres. Right? Like, you know, crossover.
DRI, the kingpin of crossover.
Like, you know, like crossover, right? Just the genre crossover. But there's also a lot of crossover. So instead of taking hardcore and kind of mixing it with something else, it was like taking hardcore and then like inbreeding it with the genre of hardcore.
Right. Well, we like the inbreeding.
Right. Yeah. And then it just makes like a even more hardcore.
But it's so
version of
refined
hardcore.
because like one little thing, like one beat.
Yeah.
You know, like you throw a blast beat in any of that, it goes right into a whole different fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
and I know what that
It
thing
could be
is.
like a
It's
different genre.
Hills Have Eyes OST.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Pretty much.
All right.
You know, like an original soundtrack, I guess.
Okay.
It's
All right.
Getting at.
But you know what I'm saying, though? It's so refined and so, you know, you look at a kid's fucking, you know, battle vest. It's like, I don't know.
So I think the big thing, too, is just to, like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like people place too much importance on the aesthetic. And I feel like that's one thing I really appreciate when it comes to, like, you know, hardcore specifically. And I don't mean, like, HXC, like, none of that. You know, all those bearded guys, like little bearded HXC tough guys trying to like
where
you
they're
know,
doing
be
the
all macho.
arm swings and the fucking axe kicks.
It's just about like
Have you been
no
in one of those
style
pits
at
yet?
all.
Have you
No. the death wall and all of that.
No,
I
dude,
took
like
some of
the
that.
Hardcore dancing or whatever.
crowd killing.
Yeah.
Oh.
HXC
Seen any of the
dancing.
crowd killing yet?
Well, what I've noticed is there's a couple of rednecks every once in a while that don't understand the mosh pit. They come to the show like DRI in Oakland, and then they'll throw a punch at someone, and then everyone kicks their ass.
No, this is like a whole different thing of like the way that they're moshing is.
It's not
they're
The
just-
windmill.
moshing.
Yeah, they're swinging and
Yeah.
they're throwing kicks and they're doing all this crazy. And some guys like attack the crowd.
Yeah.
You know?
It
That
is, it's
actually
pretty
happened.
dumb.
And that
That
isn't like a
Infest.
super no-no back in the day. That was like,
Yeah, you party foul. It's
Oh.
a faux pas, actually. Faux pas, like farting in church. But here's the thing. We were at Infest, and if anyone listens to Infest, you know how incredibly intense the music is, how violent the music is. And there was some dude like that going crazy and stuff. So I jumped on him, and I bit him on the ear, because that's what you're supposed to do to a rabid pit bull. You're supposed to bite him on the ear. I bit him on the ear. And then let him up, and then the party was over. The band kept playing. No one really gives a fuck. It was just one individual who just didn't know how to act. But
he straightened up quick.
no, I think the thing is that there's no real reason to like go full on bloodthirsty brawl at a show because everyone paid to get there. Everyone worked overtime. You know, everybody that's there wants to be there. So when we go into the pit, we have like these certain unspoken etiquettes where, you know, you go to see your neighbor fall and you pick him up and you stand him back up, maybe grab him by his shirt and throw him back into the mosh pit. It's a part of that common courtesy, that brotherhood or sisterhood that...
It's like a metaphor for life. We're all in this thing and people are going to fall and you pick them up and you help each other, right? That's the way I always kind of viewed it as a metaphor. You know,
And
you're
the
like
whole
living it, but...
And the mosh pit's just a non-violent way to release aggressive, violent energy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree.
So it's like poor man's therapy or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree.
And power violence has that effect on people where there's this they get the energy so intense. Power violence can bring the energy so close to where, like Infest, where it just turns into a full-on bar fight, but then somehow it holds on to the connectivity of its crowd. It's almost like the crowd is connected to the band in some symbiotic way where they're really the band is controlling the intensity of the crowd. They're controlling us on the pit floor.
We just seen Godstomper at some little like warehouse show.
Okay.
It wasn't even really a warehouse. It was like some office spaces or something, like
In
storage units converted into like a venue out in like Novato.
Was it fun?
It was a lot of fun, man. That was really cool. It was like a really like intimate, proper setting for a...
You guys go to a lot of shows. I know that. And Tommy is probably the
Footprints on the
coolest
ceiling.
fucking dad on the planet, dude.
It's true. It's
I know
pretty
you
rad.
guys, and I've seen you guys talk a little shit to each other, but I know
Always
he's a good guy.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, I look at him as far as like how a dad is. This is the guy.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like,
Yeah.
You guys got.
I
me
agree.
stoked.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And imagine like what he is in like his influence of life directly like photocopied to you, but
Yeah.
you're taking it to your thing, which is super
Yeah.
fucking
He's
cool.
the
dude.
cutting edge of
true.
evolution.
And I can't wait to
Cool.
see the grandkid.
Yeah. It is.
Coming.
You know, I got the gray strands now.
I like the
rocking-
hair, dude. I haven't seen the hair
When
like
it
that.
all turns white, my name is Winter from that point on.
So you're talking about Blood Wraith. Was that just like some Tommy Chan, or
Dude,
is that what you want to do? You want to do that?
you know what I want to do? I want to keep making metal. I don't want to stop skating. I just turned 50 and I'm still skating. Still riding my quad angle, my 29-inch quad angle. And the whole thing is, right now I'm starting to get into Evos. My son's really into Evos, and we love Mitsubishi. My daughter owns a Mitsubishi. My son owns a Mitsubishi.
I think that's cool. You guys are into that, man.
Yeah, and like the thing
Yeah,
is
I'm into
we
race cars and
skated,
stuff.
and then when my son took me in his Evo, he scared the crap out of me, by the way. He started to show me how when you have a vehicle that moves a little faster and is all four wheels on the ground, how it doesn't handle like a regular vehicle, how like freeway on ramps and how different parts of the road and different roads are like skate parks.
Right.
And that new form of adrenaline is
And G-force
and G-force
yeah.
and centrifugal force, all these forces of nature working together, and how his evolution is like helps you access all of that and stuff. And I got to go to Mitsubishi Owners Day down in SoCal, and with him and all his friends, and I was really conscientious. Because I'm old, I don't want to kick it with the youngsters, young bucks, but they just embraced me down there in SoCal, the whole Evo community, and stuff, and and I got to hang out and see all the cars, and I got to drive with him and his friends in tandem in SoCal on those freeways in LA, and the way that they drive and fly in formation is pretty amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It made for some good metal when we
So
got back.
you're into those like hot rod cars or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
just race cars.
Pretty expensive, right?
It can be. It
can be.
Yeah, I mean, there's something called like the mod bug. You start like modding for power.
Right.
But what you'll see a lot, like what you'll see a lot of around here at least is like the little stance kids or whatever. So they'll just sit there and do like intake exhaust, and then they'll just like get a set of wheels and lower their car.
Big ups to
And
those
then,
kids.
and then they'll just clean it really well and make it all shiny and stuff, but it doesn't really go anywhere.
I'll be right back 1 second.
Yeah.
You guys just talk amongst yourself for 1 second.
All right, so that was Timmy. I think he's gonna take a dump and stuff. I'm not really sure.
When
I guess he eats a lot of gruel.
yeah, when nature calls, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the whole thing. Big ups to those kids who are just taking any car they can drive, throw on as many mods as they possibly can. Big ups to all the people out there still rocking the power violence, still keeping it alive. Operation Ivy, all those old bands, SDI, all those bands.
Who was your favorite band back in the day, like local?
Local, I just started I really like the Specials, and I really just started
They're not
getting into the
local.
Skanks. No, but it was
No, Santa Rosa Band.
Op Ivy.
Oh, okay.
Op Ivy, because I really like the skank. It's a dance that you do where you look like a Russian.
Yep.
And you're just like,
No, you don't do that.
Hey,
My favorite band,
Hey.
local band back in the day, was probably Insanity Puppets.
yeah, Larry.
Yeah.
And Guthrie. And
And
all
Guthrie.
Oh man, that guy Guthrie, he worked at Petaluma music store.
And Ernie. Remember Ernie?
And he'd give me deals on strings and stuff. Not anything illegal, just deals on strings.
What was your favorite part about like growing up? Like, you went to the Horn Ramp parties, obviously, right?
Oh my god.
Dude, is that a
Horn Ramp.
Was that a blast from the past or what?
Yeah. Horn Ramp is this road off Santa Rosa Avenue in Santa Rosa. You can Google it or whatever. But we were basically, everyone was out of work, construction workers, and we'd all raid. Or actually, they would just midnight requisition wood and stuff like that. Have a kegger, have like 80 kids come out. Everyone has a red cup. Everyone has a hammer, bag of hammers, bag of nails. We'd lay all the plywood down. We'd take the masonite, lay it down, screw it all in, and then we'd skate. It had a full, it was like a half a pool open to a large 9-foot drop in. It had an elevator going up around the backside. It had two
A spine and a camel
it had a
hump.
spine, a camel hump, and then a backside. with another half pool coming around the outside. And there was Randy Roeder, there was Paul Costa, there was Eric Piora, and these were heavy hitters from
Mike Solis.
Oh man, from
that guy was doing like
guys,
6 foot frontside airs. Like he was like he's crazy now. Like I don't know if you've seen Mike lately, but he's fucking cuckoo.
And Joel Price.
Joel Price.
They were from Thrasher. They'd do Thrasher and then come hit up the ramp, and us locals would be all out there. And
well, not only that, they would have these parties out there that would start like at 10 in the morning, and there'd be like 15 bands and 20 kegs, and there'd be hundreds of people there.
Yeah,
everybody was there, and it was this mayhem.
And I've never seen a fight out there. That's what I'm talking about.
I saw a couple.
Really?
I saw Gabe Donahue. Remember Gabe?
Oh, was he that kooky dude?
He's a little kooky, but he was a dick, and like
his mom had him on Prozac or something.
I don't know, but I remember seeing him get into it a couple times actually. Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
I've been out there a million times and I never saw any fights, you know?
Nobody wanted to fuck with you, dude.
We were all into skating.
Let's be honest.
Like everybody who was out there wanted to be there. You know what I mean?
Your dad was one of the most terrifying fucking people
I know,
of all
yeah.
time, dude.
It was like my one of the
you
first
heard the
times
stories.
I ever met Chris Strong. Yeah, he had some stories and stuff. He's like, dude, your dad saved me. You know, like at a party. Like, yeah, he was like pretty excited when he found out I was, you know.
Yeah.
My dad's son.
Ooh,
he's so
Strong.
mellow now, dude. Like back then, it was like you give this guy a candy bar.
Candy bar, an M&M. Like I eat an hour later. Wah! No,
it was crazy.
But seriously,
it was
Chris
scary.
Strong is a good, solid name to bring up because that guy has been rocking out wrong. He has been wrong a couple times on a few 6-packs. No, Chris Strong has been rocking out as long as I've known him. And what band is he in right now?
I don't know if he's still with Snag, but he was in Snag for a while.
Yeah. I was playing with their drummer, Justin
really?
McAdams. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a good drummer.
Yeah, that's who. But I mean, I'm sure he's been in a lot of bands before Snag.
Yeah.
But
We went to a lot of these bands used to have parties and have all the local kids to get a fan base. And what we did was there was it would bring kids from the neighborhood together. So I think I met Chris Strong at Wasted Morality. I think it was Andy Rose's band.
Yeah.
Kobe Larson's brother.
Yep.
Andy Rosa. And so basically we had Wasted Morality, Victims Family, all playing these local parties. And you got to understand, there's been a lot of good talent that came through Sonoma County.
Seriously.
And we've kind of been brats because we have the city less than a half an hour away, the ocean less than a half an hour away, tons of venues that held it down for us back in the day, you know, before everyone had cell phones, and all we had was this music that kept us going and kept us moving in a straight direction. And
yeah,
you know,
it was that's what we did every single. Well, I mean, not like I was working back then, but it was like every weekend there was something happening. There was three bands are playing or this or that or whatever was going on, and that's what you did.
But see, the thing is it kind of comes and goes in waves, right?
Right.
So it's pretty cool because we've had like a staple scene in Sonoma County, you know, going back since I'm sure maybe even before the 80s. But I think that what, you know, like the thing that happens is, you know, like for a while it'll be like really cool and there's tons of people and it's a really big scene, and then everything will kind of fizzle out, people move away, people even die or whatever, you know. And then what happens is it'll kind of like be on like life support for a little bit.
Right.
And what happens is I think is like all these bands that have a lot of talent in Sonoma County, they'll go get big in other places, like they'll go on tour or whatever, or you know, you can take like Resilience as an example, Capitalist Casualties as an example, even Primus if you want. Right. And I feel like they obviously network and stuff, and then they'll go.
Well, they got to spread their wings in a sense. You have to.
But then, like, you know, when you talk to them, the problem is, I mean, they love Sonoma County. Like, it's not like they move away. They're big in other places and they go tour. Just if, say, you know, Capitalist Casualties, for example, you know, like me and Sean were talking about it, and you know, R.I.P. Yeah, definitely. And we were talking about how, if they play in LA or, for example, or Japan, they sell out whole shows in Japan.
Yeah, I talked to him about
huge
Japan.
in Japan.
Yeah.
But they come back to Sonoma County and play a show, and they're
11
lucky.
people there.
Yeah, they're lucky if they get like 15 people.
I get it.
But it's not that people don't like them. It's almost just like there's like the scene. Everyone moves away or whatever,
Right.
and then what ends up happening is I think people are kind of like used to capitalist casualties. Like they're just like, oh, okay, like
Well, we've seen him for 30 plus years.
Yeah, and it's really kind of a shame because it sucks. It's like, I don't know, like you would think that there'd be more support, but instead it's kind of like, oh.
Well, people are pretty jaded around here.
Yeah,
they've seen it all, and,
exactly,
and
they're kind of used to it.
They've been to all the shows, just like me. I don't really go to shows anymore. Last show I went to was the Cro-Mags at the Parkside.
Okay.
Which was a killer show.
Yeah, I feel like you should come with us to some smaller shows.
I'm totally into it.
It's like, grassroots. For example, like when I took him to Godstomper. Godstomper is like an OG band from Slap a Ham. Same label as Capitalist Casualties, actually. Chris Dodge started it up from Spaz. So it's very much like a staple in the power violence genre.
Right.
But it was just this tiny little warehouse show. You had to like get the address. You had to like request it from the dude that was like throwing the show together and stuff. But everyone rolled out there and stuff, and it
Secret
was
password
much,
style.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just a big pit from like wall to wall, and probably at one point we were in a room maybe like twice the size of this that we're in right now. Yeah, but
To tell you, like, to give you a little insight on how intense it was, there was footprints after the show on the ceiling, multiple footprints from the crowd being so stuffed into the room that the band was pressed up against the back wall guarding the drums. They were still shredding, completely shredding, and there were like at any point like 8 or 10 kids with their feet on the ceiling being held up by the rest of the crowd who was moshing underneath them to this band Godstomper. And I mean, these kinds of backwoods underground shows, these kinds of completely secret code at the door shows. I mean, once you go through the bullshit, they weed out all the assholes. Everybody that's there wants to be there. It's like you put your arm around this asshole, and you're like, oh, yo, you're all here to have fun and shred. And I mean, it was a great show. It brought back that whole garage days, and type of vibe.
Right. I'm into that, man. And I've absolutely 100% have lost touch with that,
Yeah.
I got my business and I'm an adult.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's not always like local
guy's an
shows
adult.
either.
This
I
guy.
mean, I think
trying.
the local scene
Faking it
right
good.
now is like, oh man, it's probably like it's probably like the lowest, I've ever seen in terms of like local scenes and support goes.
Well, you guys don't have cell phones.
Yeah,
You guys
true.
are cell phones.
That's
These guys
true.
are
Off the
cell
grid.
phones. They're off the grid.
Sure.
They're living.
All I
It's a
have is, like, a
distraction.
work
They're
phone.
living in a fucking tree somewhere.
If you want to create, you have to listen to the world. You have to listen to yourself.
So it's pretty cool that I actually got these guys here because, I mean, I might as well try to get Santa Claus here. For real.
Ho, ho, ho.
You're hard to get a hold of, dude.
Yeah.
Are you still living downtown area?
Yeah.
I don't
living
need
under
to
a
know.
bridge.
I don't need to know where you live, but
I live exactly at blah 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 blah. But here, this is a true little extra. Is that I want to give a shout out to page 99.
Is it a shout out?
Yeah, a shout out like with
I
a
think
rifle.
I think it's a shout out, but
It's a shout out.
whatever you want.
If you're on a cliff hollering your, no, this is a shout out like a bazooka. Boom, to page 99.
there.
They're incredible.
Sure, Page
The
99.
List is my favorite song right now. There's
Okay.
Which is
What
it's a
a-
filth cover. Yeah,
What genre are they?
they're scrams.
Screams?
Yeah, so page 99 is scrams.
I checked out
Same-
those bands you said. Weekend Nachos. I was super into that.
Yeah, they're pretty
Aggro.
fun.
Yeah.
Power violence for sure. Yeah, it'd be nice if they played around. Yeah, ACXDC is like a band that played with them or whatever a lot, and in the Midwest area.
That's your shit is the power violence right now because last time I think we hung out, you were like,
Yeah.
I'm D-Beat, like, till I die.
Oh yeah,
Remember that? You were like, D-Beat.
yeah. DB.
Is that
yeah.
the same shit? I mean, I don't know.
No,
I don't
different.
know.
It's different. Yeah, DB.
Okay.
DB's good. I don't know.
You were chanting. You were chanting
Sometimes
pretty hard.
I can't stand like the aesthetic of it, but I mean I love playing D beat. I mean
Okay.
it's just so simple, But yeah, I mean, as a drummer, it's just like, I don't know.
My
Oreos
heart's
and
always
milk.
going to be in thrash metal. Like it's
Yeah,
either
no,
punk
no,
rock,
I mean,
you know, the old style,
Yeah.
or thrash metal. That's where I'm
No, I'll
always going to
always be like a Hesher at heart, you know.
Right.
But I think it's nice to really kind of expand and, you know, like, I mean, mostly I was raised on punk, you know. I
Right.
mean, my dad's into a lot of different kinds of genres and stuff.
He's
But
into The Cure.
yeah, he is. Yeah,
He's really into The Cure.
Well, that's what I mean. Is if you're in this, you know,
Robbie Smith.
This
he's
guy
a
would come
poet.
over and be
Yeah.
like, listen to this heartfelt song I wrote. And he
Yeah.
had his little
Yeah.
guitar. I'm like, okay, Tommy,
Yeah.
let's hear your heartfelt
Yeah,
song.
dude,
And I love it. Don't get me wrong, but I always give you.
Yeah, and my heartfelt song was "Blood is the lust" when I'm on that dust. There you go.
I fucking love
Blood
it.
is the lust when I'm on it. We just high fived. We're gay as hell.
No, we're not.
But
We might be, you
here's
never
the
know.
thing. Page 99 kicks ass. Everyone needs to support that band.
Are they
Another
local?
thing.
no,
Where are
they're
you from?
from Richmond,
Virginia?
probably like something like Virginia or
One of my favorite-
something.
One of my favorite bands is from Virginia. Are they from Virginia? Evil Army? Did I ever
Evil Army.
training on those
Never
guys?
got
I thought you were gonna say Municipal Waste or something.
But also Orchid.
Dude, Evil
Orchid
Army,
is
dude.
live right now.
Richmond has a good scene over
They
there.
do.
When I went over there and stuff, like their local scene is awesome. You know, props to Richmond.
I could be wrong about that, so don't get mad at me, Rob, if you're watching this.
Big props to Richmond. They're keeping it alive out there. Some of these different towns, some of these different cities, they keep the scene alive. The people there, the communities are strong.
Right on.
Orchid is another one that I wanted
Orchid,
to throw out
Orchid's
there. Get
awesome.
a bazooka shot out
Orchid
to
is
Orchid.
so good. That's like really what I'm talking about when I say scrams. You know, it'd be awesome. Like that's something I would take really serious to do
Okay.
a project like Orchid. You know, they kind of have like a Charles Bronson-esque feel. You know, so there's like a lot of angst.
That's
and,
the other band that you
Yeah.
turned me on to.
Charles
Yeah.
Bronson,
Charles Bronson.
unruly.
yeah,
Okay.
real
Unruly.
just,
Original.
It's like so. I think it's the reason the formula works so well is it's so messy and it sounds like chaos. But the thing is if you have like a trained ear and you understand music, you understand like what they're doing.
Right.
And all of a sudden you realize it's not chaos. It's actually like the opposite. They're so on point in terms of like transitions and
Right.
you know
Layering.
tempo changes and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty
Expansive.
Yeah, you guys are always
pretty
bringing
impressive.
something new to the table. Every time I see you, it's always some, you
Yeah.
know. And where do you get like most of your like? Where do you are you YouTube? You just fucking scrape
No,
YouTube or
no,
Kron.
yeah,
Another
I don't
band.
know,
Totally
like,
original.
It's
Kron.
like you can kind of like I don't know, follow the dots. I'm just into music, you know. I check out interviews and stuff like that. I'm really into like okay, like you know, here's this band that was really awesome. It's not around anymore. What bands, you know, do they have anything going on now? And then for example, like you take Charles Bronson, Mark McCoy. You know, obviously Charles Bronson's not a band anymore. He had a band called they were called Low Threat Profile,
okay.
and the guitarist Shreds. You know, he's in that he played guitar for Orchid back in the day.
Okay.
And then you know I was like, who's Orchid?
So these old bands are just kind of forming, making like a
Yeah.
7-inch and then breaking up.
Or there's splits, for
Right.
example. You know,
Yeah.
that's another. You're like,
yeah.
I like this band, and then you listen to the
Yeah.
other side, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
now there's this band.
Yeah.
You know,
And we do get kind of sad around here because we've seen some amazing bands simply dissolve because people just got jobs, grew up, had babies, had kids, all this.
I think it has to say too with like I'm not saying that the scene is bad in other places, but like it's fucking bad. I'm just gonna be honest. Like the scene is
Yeah.
not like there's no venues in Sonoma County.
oh yeah, exactly.
Phoenix
Phoenix
Theater.
is like on life support.
It's on life support 24/7. It's
Tom,
is, yeah.
big
Yeah,
bazooka
huge
shout out or shot out
Shout
to
out to
Tom.
Tom.
He's keeping that whole scene alive, and
he has a pretty cool podcast too. If you guys ever watch that.
Yeah,
he kept
it's
all
pretty
of
cool.
us kids out of prison just
Yeah,
by giving us a
he
place
did.
to go.
Resilience was on there, and that was pretty rad.
Yeah. We had the Arlene Francis Center.
Yeah,
You know, which is a cool venue. I
even
like
then,
it.
I don't know.
I like the aesthetics of
So
it.
I
I saw
remember
MDC
back,
there.
back when like MDC would play.
I
and,
saw
like
Power
Dr.
Trip there,
No.
dude.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Power Trip's good. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a trip too because there was a bit of like a thrash revival, and you know back when I was like a freshman in high school or whatever.
Right.
And there was like a cool little scene for a second, but I think what happened was like I don't know, the whole scene kind of dissolved, and then a lot of I don't know, and then
Because it's like regurgitated.
yeah, no, and then on top of it, like, you know, never participate. I don't know. I feel like a scene's never gonna last if there's a heavy like like aspect, like one of the biggest aspects is like the aesthetic, because what happens is that like brings in all these other kinds of, kids that are, I don't know, then it just turns into like a group or like almost like this gang mentality where they're just
Right.
like, oh, like, I'm going to start dressing like this and kind of, like I hated that, man. Like, cause one of the coolest things about that was there's this place called the Metal Tree, and as lame as it is, and we just all stand around this, next to this tree or whatever during lunch and just talk about music, and that was what was cool.
That's
Just
that's
every
Santa
See,
Rosa
that's
High.
new, dude.
That's what I mean.
That's not something that's been done, or maybe it is done somewhere that's
Yeah.
not talked about.
That's
but that's
true.
your guys' shit, right?
But see, like, that was the pinnacle of the scene, was like just the fact that so many people really cared about the music. So you'd show up and be like, dude, do you ever listen to, what do you think of like Horoscope, by
Right.
Overkill, for example? Like, everyone focuses on the other albums, or, like, have you heard that song specifically? Like, that one part where, he's doing
Yeah.
this. And I love that because, most of us, half of us be like, oh, no, I can't.
But see, that's the
really
kind of
recall
shit
or
right
whatever.
there that, and I use this as a reference, is like stoner metal, where it originated out in the desert with those few bands like Sleep and
I
and
Hate
Caius.
God. You're
And
talking
those-
about like bands like I Hate God and
No, like the originals, like
okay.
Sleep, Caius,
Sleep.
Queens of the Stone Age. Like those guys
Are those-
started this whole thing out there.
I Hate God is older than those bands.
Are they?
think.
Oh,
think.
I might-
I Hate God's like
You got.
90s,
I'm gonna
90s.
I'm gonna believe you on that.
Okay,
Okay. But
okay.
anyway, what I'm trying to illustrate is that they created this tiny little scene just for themselves
Yeah.
in this town, and that's what they were into.
Yeah, and that's
They
important.
weren't trying to be anything. I mean, they were obviously into Black Sabbath and down to
Yeah,
probably the
doom
Melvins.
metal. Yeah.
But look what happened there.
Yeah.
That
that's-
just spawned fucking everything as far as Doom's concerned. And
Yeah, like that revival. I think I don't
Burzum
know.
hemmed all of that shit up.
Burzum.
Burzum. That dude
Well,
hemmed it all
Burzum.
up with
How do you
some
feel about
serious-
that the black metal thing?
I think it's cool. I think what's funny is
I
like,
hate it.
You do.
I make so much fun of it, dude. Like I did that painting right there.
Oh yeah.
It's the I don't know what fucking album cover, but I'm gonna put the.
You're an artist, dude. I like
I'm
that.
gonna put the Goonies right there on the top.
Oh,
It's- I'm not saying
No,
I
I
just
think
hate
it's
how.
cool.
For me, black metal is fundamentalism of music. It's so. You know what I'm trying to? It's the ISIS of music. It's.
But you
It is.
you
It's-
bagged on me for listening to Cure.
But the thing is
I'm
too
not
is like I
bagging
don't know.
on you.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
you
Listen to
did.
the Cure. I like the Cure.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing.
One
is-
thing is like I wish that people would like let music exist just
As it
unto
is.
itself, if that
Okay.
makes sense. So what I mean is
No,
like,
I get you.
for example, like I honestly like like talking about punk. And
That's
stuff,
just
for
my
example.
opinion, though.
Yeah, but
Mind
like
you.
when it comes to punk, like dude, sometimes it gets so because I don't really subscribe to either political party.
Mm-hmm.
I think that no one should, dude. Everyone should look at every single issue individually. And I think what happens when it comes to something like punk is it gets so far, dude, it's way further left than it ever was originally.
For sure.
Not to say it was ever right wing or something, but
Right.
it's just, dude, like, whoa, like now it's like you're using this, and I understand it's like maybe that's something they're really into, and they're the ones making music, so all for it. But sometimes I perceive things like I could take the lyrics to a song that's say like super leftist or something, right?
Right.
And I could just kind of like perceive it my own way and make it kind of applicable to myself.
Right.
I guess, so to speak. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that we shouldn't focus too much on someone's politics. Like, I don't really, it's like, I don't know. Like,
it's all subjective too. It's
It
like,
is,
It's
yeah,
however
like-
you want to view it. Like
Yeah.
you see a song and
exactly.
that you get a feeling out of, but somebody else gets a kind of
Yeah,
a different
yeah.
feeling out of. So it's all subjective, just like art is.
Dude, and I think that we've reached this all-time low when it comes to venues like the Gilman, for example.
Right.
There, everyone was boycotting the Gilman. There was like some huge push to boycott the Gilman.
Because Green Day didn't come back.
Dude, yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah, Green Day didn't come back, but no, it's because they didn't like the bands they were having play there, like Oppressed Logic and stuff,
Okay.
right? Because they said like the B word one time, or you know what I mean? It's just
Oh,
like
I see what
it
you're
was really
saying.
weird. It was just like, oh, like one time they said
So
that, dude. We can't
you have to
support
be
that,
PC.
and it's just
So
like, dude, what are you doing?
So I'm
Like,
not like I don't know anything about that. So is that a huge thing right now?
Yeah,
dude,
see,
it
I
is.
didn't-
It is.
I'm
That's what I
PC.
mean.
I didn't
It
say
is.
the B word. You
It
did.
can be.
I can say
and you
bitch.
see that in punk
say cunt. I
specifically.
can say-
No,
Yeah, I can say that.
No.
I can. Does
Yeah,
it
but-
affect you?
No, that's what I
I'm
mean.
never
Does it
coming
affect
back
me?
to this venue again because you offended me.
But how can
Yeah.
how come British can say cunt in an endearing way? They can go, hey, yo, cunt.
That is a term of endearment
Okay, but why in America is it
for something that you love to
that
eat.
makes it people...
So
exactly.
One thing to clarify is my dad's a troll. So he's like,
I know,
he's trolling you so much. Like he's always trolling. So like,
I'm
and I
serious.
think sometimes it goes over people's heads.
I get it.
And then they'll be like, I'm gonna address what you're saying specifically, and then like probably like 5 minutes in, they're like, oh, this isn't going anywhere.
Okay, let's get back to the
Definitely.
PC-ness of
yeah,
the scene.
The penis.
The
penis.
The PC-ness.
But here's
Yeah.
what I think is that certain different kinds of music generates certain kinds of emotions. It reflects those emotions and all that. So when people who would listen to like an intense music, like power violence, and then like me, like I like Neutral Milk Hotel, and right now I really like listening to Acid Bath because
Good band.
right, and there's some songs that are like anthems. They're almost like OSTs to certain memories that I have and stuff. So I'm holding on to, I'm having a wider perspective to keep my mind open, to to keep me in tune with myself. That's what I use music for, and stuff. And when I'm trying to release certain energies, let some wind out of my sail, bleed a little wind out of the sail, so I'm not coming on strong, I'll listen to certain kinds of music that allows me to do that. And I think that's what is important about music. That's why I agree with what you're saying. We should just let the music stand alone.
Yeah, and I hate that it's starting to get too far.
But
into,
then you
like,
have the
what
argument of
someone-
like Screwdriver.
Yeah, but the thing is
I saw Screwdriver. They were fine.
But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? What their message is
But here's the thing.
not really
Here's the
good.
thing. Like, I don't. The thing is like even Screwdriver started out as something totally different. And
I don't
then
know anything about the
Yeah, it
history of
evolved into something. But the thing is like their music's not even good, in my opinion.
no, it's
So, but
terrible.
but
They're
that's
just
my
kids
that's my gripe
hammering
with
on their
Screwdriver.
shit.
You know what I mean? Like I don't care, dude. Like
Right.
I don't like some dude. Sometimes like and I think it's like and again I don't really believe in their beliefs or whatever. Like you don't.
Right.
But the thing is, you don't have to let the music exist aside from the individual.
Right.
Right. So and that's I guess all I mean is it's just like the you could say the same thing about like the Mentors, for example.
Right.
Right?
They
Whatever.
try to do that to Minor Threat too.
Hill Jack Heaven.
Yeah.
Guilty
That
of being
ain't
white.
good.
That song, "Guilty of Being White," they try to do that.
Well,
too.
that's what I mean is
Minor
so
Threat.
Yeah, but then Slayer covers it and then it's okay.
yeah, but Minor Threat, for example, that song had nothing to do with like it was like just talking about how like dude like they can't help whatever they were born as and
Right.
and now there's this huge push where like they're expected to almost like like you're the enemy, I
Right.
guess, and they're like, dude, no, I just was born this way or whatever, like I have nothing to do with any of that.
And I can
uh,
relate to that.
Yeah, and I
know?
think that like and then of course someone could listen to that and perceive it a certain way,
100%.
and people have in the past, and then
100%.
it creates conflict. But that's what I mean is it's like the same
America's-
goes for
America's touchy right now.
yeah.
It's
So for example, like we're
I know you guys probably don't have your
we're native.
no, but check it out. That's the thing.
We
Yeah,
still
we're
don't feel
native,
like
right?
that shit.
So we're indigenous. I'm indigenous to Sonoma County. So
Right.
really, everyone is a foreigner. That's
Right.
really how we kind of.
100%.
That's how we feel. But at the same time, when it comes to bands like you take bands like man, there's like a lot of really good bands out there, right? And they'll have songs about like it'll be like anti-tradition, like anti-traditionalist because. Some traditions are bad, or we're not living like that, or
Give me an example.
Fuck Christmas.
I'm trying to think of one, but I can't. There's bands that are just like they'll like I think there's a song called like Traditions or something. I don't know, like and it'll just be so far like and I can't relate to that because
Fuck St. Patty's Day.
Because my traditions are different than
Yeah.
whatever they're talking about, right?
Right,
But for me,
absolutely.
traditions are important, so I'm like. But the music's good, so I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to sit there and like,
I see what you're saying. Absolutely.
like let it, affect me like that, I guess. And that's what I mean is people should just focus on the music. So when it comes to Burzum, for example, if the lyrics are not against, if it's against what you believe or something, whatever. But
and me by saying that about black metal,
Yeah.
I honestly think it's comedic in a sense.
no, dude, it is. And
with the corpse paint, it
is.
it's
But the
it's trying
thing
to be
is
as
His
fucking-
tie to his ancestry
No,
had
that's
a
not my
bunch
interest.
of
No,
no,
not
but
mine.
Burzum, his tie to his ancestry, he had so much anxiety and so much overwhelmed emotions brewing inside of him that his behavior and his music reflects that in his music. You know, he reflects all of that.
Yeah, but he's
intensity.
He's a Nazi now. Like,
No, but I don't know. That's the thing. Is like I just think it's.
And I ain't down with that. Like I'm not down with that.
Right.
I just but I don't know.
He did make a great album though.
But the thing is I just think it's I don't know. I think it's a trip because like. That's what I mean. Is like
are we gonna go
everyone's
into nationalism right now? Is that what we're
national
doing?
socialism. No, it's
What's going on?
nah.
We can
goes-
talk about it.
those
Like
things-
it's all open here.
It goes unsaid.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know, man. I think that everyone's like so like up on their high horse when it comes to, for example, like oh man, like
say it, dude.
when you talk about like the politics.
You're on
going
my like it's
Yeah.
all good, dude. Whatever you
Yeah.
want to say, bro.
Actually,
When-
it's not.
when you
Videos forever.
Yeah. Yeah, when you talk about like U.S.
Oh, the
politics,
3 people that watch this.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna
That
get
you
big.
probably know.
But
The-
here's the thing:
the-
it's repercussions.
But like you talk about like the state of U.S. politics and stuff,
Right.
and I just the thing is like there I don't know, it's a 2-party system,
Right.
and I don't even believe in a 2-party system.
I
at
don't
all.
believe in any of it.
Like that's what I mean though. But the thing is people I don't know, like people sit there and like they just feel like they're so above it. So like one thing that I can't stand as a person of color, right,
Uh-huh.
is like a white apologist.
Okay.
Dude, I've literally been apologized to, right?
Right.
And we've dealt with that before, and it is embarrassing. It's
Right.
like, dude, you're stressing me out right now, dude.
Right.
Like, stop.
How would they do it? Like,
Dude, I've literally had like people be like, oh, I'm really I would just like to apologize for the things
and what's
that
your
happened
view
to your
on that?
people.
It's like you weren't there, so like.
No, the thing is it is like everything that's happened in history directly affects us, man. It is like a real thing that we deal with on a
Life
regular basis.
unfolding.
Because like I was raised with my culture, and the culture is like held on by like a strand,
Right.
because of forced integration,
Right.
and it's not really, there's tons of stuff that isn't in a textbook somewhere, so it's literally
Right.
up to us to participate. If we stop participating, it's a huge chunk of
gone.
history that's thousands of years old that'll literally fade away. But the thing is people, the reason I can't stand it is because it's like, just don't attach yourself to anti-native sentiment, and it's fine. I don't
Right.
like, what can I expect from this person? The thing is we don't expect anything.
Nothing.
That's what was so beautiful about
Nothing
the
at all.
civil rights movement, is it was called civil rights. They literally just wanted civil rights.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were trying to reach a place of neutrality.
Right.
And nowadays there's this false sense of entitlement that, it's like, now it's like the best thing to be is like some kind of person of color. Like,
Right.
I don't think anymore, because there's starting to be pushback. But dude, the pushback is a result of this false sense of entitlement. People
Right.
like, putting people like I went to public schools and would see like white kids getting picked on every day because they were the minority in the school.
Right.
And there's this huge thing where like, yeah, stupid white kid, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And dude, just like getting water bottles launched at his head in class and stuff, and everyone would laugh. It was hilarious. And he's white, so yeah, he's privileged or whatever. Like, so what? And I was like, I remember thinking like, dude, like, this kid's gonna grow up to hate us, dude. He's gonna hate me. He's gonna hate you over there. Like, he's gonna hate everyone that's not like him, because look how he's getting treated.
And that makes for good metal.
That's a really, really cool out. Like that's
Yeah.
Profound.
It's profound, dude. Like you got
Yeah.
a good head on your shoulders, Caden.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah, but it's it is a trip, because like, I don't know. I just think that's why it needs to not be so relevant. I'd say,
Right.
in terms of like how someone chooses to align themselves politically, completely irrelevant, dude. Like personally, I don't get down with communism, right?
Right.
I just don't. But the thing is I don't hate someone because they might.
Right.
So what, dude? That's cool. Like, good for you. Because guess what? Like, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't affect me, and it doesn't affect.
It's taken me 46 years to come to the.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, because
Yeah.
as I was younger, I was, pissed off all the time about
Yeah.
everything, and I would try to, like, am I part of this? Am I part of that?
Yeah,
like, where am I at?
exactly.
And just knowing that there's nothing fucking.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing, dude. Like,
Dude, if
just-
they're as long as they're not
There's
like,
one thing. It's your skate. It's a downhill. It's bearings. It's grease.
and you know
I
what else?
agree.
You know,
He's
what,
right.
yeah, and you know what else is? It's like, so what if, like, I don't know, like, you have to kind of accept, like, you might be wrong, right? So
Yeah.
So if you're wrong about something, it's okay.
Yeah.
So what, dude? Like, you're wrong about something.
Dude, my last couple podcasts, I've put my foot in my mouth, dude.
That's awesome.
And just
but,
like,
and,
did I really fucking...
Yeah.
And like looking back and going, man, maybe that wasn't right, you know?
Like,
Like, I forgot my wife's birthday. Didn't get her a card or nothing.
But you were there.
First thing I did was get on my podcast and call myself... Because I was stupid. Like, I forgot that. Like, how the fuck...
And you
did I do
love
that?
your wife.
I do. I love her.
Yeah, and exactly. And another thing too is, so what if someone else is wrong? Check that out. I mean, I think it's obvious that we have to accept being wrong, but people fail to accept when someone else is wrong.
But that comes from like an inner dialogue that we have with our of like being young and like almost being like, oh, he's fucking wrong.
Yeah,
and you attack that person
exactly.
for being wrong.
And that's the
it's
state
like a
of
schoolyard.
That's the
mentality,
current
right?
state of U.S. politics.
Right, absolutely,
that's what it is.
100%.
And it's just like, dude, so what? So for example, like when it comes to like, you know, current presidency or whatever, like probably like obviously I can agree with the rest of California, right? And we all know what that means. But what I'm saying is, I think the problem is their approach. Everybody's focusing on his platform. Dude, you really want to win a conservative over? Question his competence. Do it. Question the fact that, like, how's this guy going to represent the working class when he's never worked a day of hard work
Well, that's
in his
what
life?
they do. And it's
No, but the thing is that,
pong,
dude, they
it's back
don't.
and
They
forth.
don't. They focus on, like, the fact that he wants to build a wall or why he wants to build a wall. And it's like, dude, don't focus on that. Start with, like, you know what I mean? I feel like the elephant in the room never gets addressed because they're so focused on like the dumb stuff he's saying on social media. They're distracted by like his, you know, or even his platform, whatever. Dude was a Democrat in, you know, the beginning of this century anyway. So like focus on his competence. Like, you know what I mean? Like try to find common ground with the opposing political party.
Right.
Never take the stance of like, you know, I'm right, you're wrong. That's the way it is. Because that's just going to alienate people.
Absolutely.
And
it puts yourself in a
and
category.
real changes are made subtly because it takes a minute to make a law and it takes 2 lifetimes to change a law. That's why we have to be more careful. We have to be cohesive as a community. We have to be cohesive as Californians. Yeah. You know, and there is something true about this, is that these kinds of frustrations, this kind of politics, these kinds of emotional state of mind, you know, Burzum having Christians, you know, build churches on their on his family's burial grounds and him burning those churches down and then making metal about it. You know, all of that stuff is what metal's about.
For example, I think
it's a
I think what he's saying
freestyle.
is like
Metal helps channel these kinds of things, you know, into a platform that can be digested by people outside of your circle and outside of your community.
Totally. Well, music is the glue for, I feel like, for humanity. You know, every culture, every country out there in the world has music.
Yeah,
and it's something that it brings them all together. That's for sure. And food. I'm a huge fan of food.
Music and food.
I know you like food, right, Tommy?
I like Bjork. All right, she sings this song, "Human Behavior." I like that song, and I like "Army of Me." That's a pretty good one.
What else?
And you know, just remember that some of this music that you guys bag on me about, like The Cure and shit, some of it's pretty aggressive, all right, in a soft, sweet little cuddly way.
Like some Blue Monday? Sorry.
No worries.
That's cool, man. Your guys' outlook is it's always accepted, and this guy's been a huge influence on me.
But I guess that's what I've always appreciated about Thrash was it was kind of apolitical in a sense. And
nuclear assault. Look at that. I mean, their whole thing was just about like, we're fucking this planet up, politics. Fuck you.
And I think that's awesome, man, because it's something that more people can kind of, you know what I mean? Like, dude, how can we focus on, like, isn't music something that can bring people together? So like,
by definition,
I think people should try to keep it at that. You know, I don't know, and I just can't, dude. I can't stand it.
It's refined now, dude. It's like those Korean bands where it's Pokemon music now, dude. It's like collectible K-pop. It's
I listen to that. I love that shit. I'm out. I love K-pop.
No, it's literally Pokemon because they have like 15 members and every person has it's, you know, boy band style where have their favorite member, and the tickets are $180.
Yeah, well, that's
and they
what I
sell
mean.
out 100,000 people
Yeah.
stadiums, and it's just it's all about the money, and that's why thrash metal and like these bands you guys are talking about, they ain't doing it for the money.
But
they're
the
doing it in
thing
rooms
is,
this big, and they're doing it for you.
You can't say
Crom,
that though, man.
that's one of the most intense,
Yeah,
unruly
Crom
events.
is-
Crom,
Crom is amazing.
they do it
That's
for
a
the
band you
fans.
like, dude.
They do it for the
If
love
you
of the
like-
music.
Yeah, if you like old school, like metal.
Crom.
I almost
Crom.
want to say metal. Like not like it by all means it's thrashy. You know, sometimes it's kind of doomy. But I mean, if you just like old school metal, but the thing is, it's power violence. At least in my opinion. I mean, they take it up a notch, right?
And when
But-
you go to one of their shows, go meet these guys. Go meet
Yeah.
all of them. They're amazing. They're so open. They welcome you in, especially if you're a youngster. You want to ask about their, ask about their guitar, their drums, or ask them about music, how to make a record, how to set up a CD, how to get it. They'll tell you. These guys are out there. They're busting their ass. They're using their own gas money to get to venues, to play shows for kids, and they're doing it because they want to pass it on, plain and simple. And that's the same shit your grandma told you, is to pass it on. So that's what these guys are doing, but for the whole scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Power violence can't die if we don't let it die.
Fucking capitalists. They were supposed to be the originators of power violence.
Yeah, they're definitely one of them. We're actually they're this band
Crossed
called,
Out. I heard Crossed Out was too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Crossed Out. Yeah, of course. Man is the Bastard.
Right.
Crossed Out. No
Capitalist.
comment.
Okay.
No comment. Neanderthal.
And this is all 30 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we can even talk about like Siege, which
Okay.
is across the country.
Okay.
Siege is actually playing pretty.
What about,
soon
is
here.
there power violence over in Europe or any other country? Are they doing
Oh
it?
yeah, there is.
Japan?
See the problem though.
Probably
is-
Japan, Vivisic.
Vivisic is good. Oh yeah, there's this
Very
other band
humble.
called,
Those guys are so
Fuck
awesome.
on the Beach from
Fuck
Japan. Yeah,
Fuck on the beach.
they're great. They're
Dude,
great.
you guys come up with the best.
Can't say the
names.
F word.
You have to
You can
check
say
them out. You have
whatever
to
you
check
want.
them out. They have this album called Endless Summer.
Uh-huh.
You gotta check them out, dude.
Okay. Write all this down. Here, why
Yeah.
don't you go ahead and write all this down. Put
Yeah.
your name on the top there, Kadin. So when I
Okay.
put it, I don't
You
spell
don't have
it
to
wrong.
do any requests. It's your day off.
Yeah.
My
Don't
day
do
off.
it.
I've got a huge tile job I'm starting, dude. Monday, tomorrow.
He's a laborer, honor labor.
Honor labor. What are you doing for work?
I'm
You
on
don't-
the finance team.
You're still doing that?
I'm in braids, collar, and cuff on the week
Okay.
days, and I'm
What do I do?
unruly.
Yeah.
I'm
the
a telecommunications technician, so I'm doing that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I
Cool.
see you have some outdated equipment out in the living room.
Oh, I saw you looking at that.
Yeah.
Should I update
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah,
got a question
RNG
for you. So my
150,
wife
yeah.
wants to switch over to Sonic. Is that a good move?
Kind of all depends. Like, what are you paying like right now? Like,
We're
what do you
paying
guys- what do
too
you guys-
much money for Comcast, dude.
What, like how much?
It's it's a couple $100, I think, a month.
Really?
He doesn't know because she
Dude,
pays the
so
bills.
you could
She's
get
the
like a
responsible.
I pay the
Wow.
rent, dude.
He
I
pays the rent.
$2,500 a
But
month rent plus the
she
fucking
pays the
PG&E.
bill. She knows the
I
exact
pay-
cost of how much she's paying.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I suggest definitely.
We use it for we just have internet and then we like stream Netflix.
Dude, I'll help you out. I'll help you get set up.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you work for Comcast?
No, you're not allowed to say any of
Okay,
that
we'll
crap.
talk-
to say.
Okay.
We'll talk about this.
This guy
I
needs a
may or may
censor
not.
right now. Nancy
can neither
Reagan needs
confirm or
to kick
deny
his
that.
Have to edit the Comcast.
Nancy
part out.
Reagan.
All right.
Yeah, but no, I really will help you out.
Okay. Cool. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, just that the next time when we call you for a show, you're gonna have to leave your wife at home and come with us instead of being like, "Oh, I can't go. I'm
Here's the
married. I
thing.
have a wife."
Here's the thing,
Dude, let
you
your
have
wife
to give me a
hang
week's
out
notice. You have
with your. She's
Okay,
gonna
that's
go
it. I gotta have a
knitting or
week's notice.
something.
Not like
Your wife
it's
likes to
3:30
knit
and
sweaters.
he's like, "Hey, at 5:00 we're going to Oakland."
She has
to
friends
fucking-"
that knit
I'm like,
sweaters.
Yeah.
Let them go knit a
We do,
sweater.
we
It doesn't
We
work
go
for
to a
me.
show. We shred.
Well,
she knits sweaters.
Siege is playing.
She's in a band, dude.
I know she rocks, but still, she can go rock with her friends, and you can come to a show pit with us.
That's true.
Get all musty, and then
That's
tell her all about it.
100% true.
She does rock.
Do you like her band? What is
And
this?
I do like her band.
Why do you have a
And
sheriff thing
also,
on there?
I
What
really
are you doing? Are you
I really-
undercover? You a cop?
no. But one thing, Cops don't have to tell you if they are, actually. But Lucinda Williams is another band that I got turned on.
That's not a band. That's a lady.
It's a lady. But she has a really good album. And who listens to her is Dax Riggs. And I was talking to his wife about Lucinda Williams because there's a bunch of bands out there, like pop bands, who get a bunch of writers to write for them and stuff. And then every once in a while, there's these poets who take their black book that they've been working on these poems for years and they turn them into music. And this is one of those kinds of musicians that is poetry strong or poetry forward music, you know, where the poetry was first, the music was second, you know, and so that was one of the bands that I tried to connect with your wife about.
Yeah,
was Lucinda, or one of the lady musicians that I was.
Dude, I like a lot of. I'm not just like that. I like a lot of stuff that I don't really talk about. You know what I mean?
That's cool. Yeah, you got to pull from. It's good when you have
music invokes a feeling, and if I hear something and it gives me a feeling, I'm gonna,
nice.
You know, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna be about it.
How about Bay Area gangster rap?
I like me some Mac Dre.
There you go.
No, dude, that's 1985.
I like
dude.
Mac
Bridge
Dre, dude.
Burners 1, 2, 3.
I have no idea,
ABC.
dude.
No, just kidding.
I like Mac Dre. I do.
Young Bridge Burners. Yeah, he's talking about Lash Money.
All right.
Little AJ, Little
Write
Frost.
it down.
Oh man.
Yeah, write it down, dude.
And don't forget Filthy Rich. He's out there. Filthy Rich be out there.
Is he out there? You all right?
Who else?
I need my car key.
Filthy Rich. And
Hey, can you just make sure you shut the doors so the cats don't get out? I appreciate that. That's why I had to get up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did I shut the door and the cats are out?
Don't let the cats out or the police in, huh? Need that door closed.
Dude, that's profound, bro.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I am turning 13 no, I'm playing.
Right, well.
23.
23?
But, yeah, so
Right
10
on,
years,
man.
10 years older than that.
When's your birthday?
Let me try to remember here.
Come on,
October 2nd, man.
October
Yeah.
2nd, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be 24?
Yeah.
Nice.
24.
Yeah, I remember when you were born.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
That's pretty rocking.
And your sister's still doing the
roller derby?
Roller derby?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's killing it. I remember when she was a little baby, she was like crawling on the ground. Tommy was like, "Get that off the ground!" He's like freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonar. Yeah,
Sonar.
Team Indigenous, they rock. They just shredded Canada and Team Japan in Las Vegas.
Is she going like
last weekend?
All over the world doing this?
They're going large. They're semi-pro, and they work together really good. And she's she's doing great.
That's amazing, dude.
But we're gonna have to go. People are hungry and tired.
People are hungry and tired.
I guess so.
Hey man, I can't thank you guys enough for showing up and doing this with me. For
Dude,
real.
we appreciate it, brotherhood.
Always.
Much love to all the people out there.
Definitely.
Big bazooka shout out to Tom, keeping, Petaluma open for the kids. And a big shout out to all those young stance dudes who are out there throwing anything they can on their any car they can drive, anything they can get their hands on, throwing it on the road, getting out there, having some flash, some style, going steezy. And another big shout out to all the kids in the Evo community. I'm thankful for being embraced by you guys and, down there in SoCal. NorCal doesn't love SoCal. It's just not true, man. Now that it's a smaller
That's
world.
a baseball thing, dude.
NorCal, no Cal. Okay? It's our Cal.
I can't wait to hear what you got going too as far as music, man. And, I know that you
Laz
guys want to play
Cannon.
music, and I don't have a lot of time usually, so I really apologize for that.
No worries. Yeah, but if you're ever free, man, you should check out what we got going on.
Laz Cannon is the band's name.
I'll let you hear the Jackson before you leave, dude. This thing fucking got some chug.
Nice. I have if you have something for me to plug into, I can play some music that we were working on and stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
All right, guys.
Why don't we come back for round 2 on that?
We will.
Yeah.
All right, guys.